Mercedes had one of the most difficult campaigns, dealing with several troubles with the W13. Yet when it came to power unit reliability, the team was among the best in the field. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both failed to finish one race out of the season's 23 races. Hamilton in Abu Dhabi due to a gearbox issue, and Russell at Silverstone due to abandoning his car after the massive first lap crash with Zhou Guanyu. Mercedes has maintained reliability via years of refinement since the beginning of the hybrid era, but has this strategy come to the expense of rivals' performance? To save money, an engine freeze has been in place since the beginning of 2022, with relatively few components that can be replaced until 2026. During this time, F1 power units can only be modified to increase dependability. Will the lack of power-packed improvements before the engine freeze be Mercedes' biggest mistake for the upcoming years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. An excellent example of an alternate strategy was shown this year by Alpine. Alpine has struggled with reliability throughout the hybrid era, with Fernando Alonso suffering his fair share this season, which he believes lost him 60 points. The team has admitted to sacrificing reliability over performance, as Executive Director Bruno Famin recently said was the objective at Renault Alpine to remain competitive. "We made changes to the engine very shortly before the new season. We took risks, but the strategy was clear. We had to get back into contention with the engine," he said. "With the engine freeze, our strategy was to do something with our performance. We still have the possibility to solve reliability issues, and that strategy was good, even though we had some problems. But the engine itself had no major issues." Despite numerous retirements throughout the season, Alpine managed to beat McLaren as the best of the rest, team to 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari has improved engine performance significantly since their middling letdown in 2020, while Honda has moved on from its early days with McLaren by delivering 2 World Championships with Red Bull. Mercedes had consistently been at the front and the benchmark for dependability, but in 2022 they were hindered by the W13's aerodynamic drag and porpoising at high-speed corners. The power unit remained among the fastest, as proven by Alex Albon's 10th place performance at the Belgian Grand Prix. The Redolon speed traps recorded his car reaching 314.4 km/h. Ferrari has constructed a decent enough package to finish ahead of them on most courses, and it will only get better as they launch a new engine with an extra 30 brake horsepower. Could Mercedes find more power at Brixworth? Hamilton and Russell are hoping to unearth something before the year 2026, but Mercedes will need to make sure these changes stay within the rules to avoid penalties. While there is still dispute over how the rule change to ride heights will affect them, Mercedes still has the upper hand in remaining in the top 3 after their resurgence toward the end of 2022. So Mercedes enjoyed a late surge at the end of the 2022 season after starting 2022 in one of their lowest positions since dominating F1 at the start of the hybrid era. This is partly because they were able to resolve the flaws that plagued the W13 throughout the season, but a rule change coming next year may have an even greater impact. And this rule change has been implemented after the ongoing comments made on the regulation changes by none other than Mercedes itself. Have they made a crucial mistake here? Resulting the ongoing battle against porpoising and the regulations, the FIA extended the outside floor edges by 15mm, with no more than 5mm vertical deflection when a 250 Newton load is applied downwardly, and no more than a 5mm vertical deflection when a 250 Newton load is applied upwardly. The goal is to limit teams' ability to run the edge of the floor closer to the track surface, resulting in improved aero performance. The FIA initially proposed a 25mm increase, but after opposition from the teams, they reduced it to 15mm. According to Sky Sports F1 commentator Karen Chandhok, this adjustment could be detrimental to Mercedes, who have never run a high ride height on their cars in the past. There's a regulation change next year, which is small but not insignificant in terms of the ride heights. The cars have all got to run at a higher ride height, he said on the end of season review. Which is the one team historically that hasn't run at a high ride height? The brainpower that won all those world championships is still there in Brackley and Brixworth. But I don't think it's as easy to fix yet as you might think. It seems like Mercedes recorded 2 big mistakes last year: not putting enough effort in their engine and picking a fight with the big boss, which caused rule changes that could cost Mercedes big time. Will Mercedes be able to overcome these changes and win more than one race next season? We'd love to hear your opinion on the matter, even if you're a Mercedes fan or not. One person certainly thinks that Mercedes will be back at the front next year, and that is Charles Leclerc. Even though Mercedes' 8-year string of Constructors' Championship victories came to an end this year as the team struggled to adapt to the new technical regulations, the team was hampered by a porpoising issue during pre-season testing, before deeper issues with the W13 car surfaced early in the season, placing it far behind Ferrari and Red Bull in the battle for first place. However, Mercedes was able to improve the car in a way that allowed it to correct many of the issues and regain performance, allowing it to win the season's penultimate race in Brazil. Its resurgence has given Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc confidence that Mercedes will be back at the front of the field next year, setting up a possible 3-team battle with Red Bull. "I do believe that Mercedes will be in the fight," said Leclerc, who scored 3 wins this year for Ferrari. Another team, I haven't seen signs yet, maybe to believe that another team will join the top 3. But Mercedes will definitely be there next year with a very strong car. We've seen how much they've improved from the first race to the last race. I think they understood what they did wrong, and this is normally the sign that it will go better. So hopefully it will be a 3-team fight next year. Charles Leclerc's kind word won't help Mercedes though, so they took matters into their own hands, and they appointed Mick Schumacher as their reserve driver recently. Although Schumacher hasn't been able to perform at the level his father did, he still is worth a lot for the Silver Arrows. He'll be doing a lot of work behind the scenes like simulator work, which is best performed by a driver who has races in F1 itself. And Lewis Hamilton believes Mercedes made a wise decision in naming Mick Schumacher as a reserve driver. The skilled driver was forced to quit Haas F1 and has found work with the German team. The Briton expects Schumacher to make a good contribution to the 2023 performance, although Hamilton puts the collaboration in perspective. "You don't work so closely with the reserve driver these days. It's a lot of simulator work, and not like before, even though we remain teammates," he told Bild. According to Hamilton, the young driver will fit in well with the team. He therefore hopes Schumacher can follow up his development appropriately. He is a German driver. His father, Michael Schumacher, and Mercedes were already closely linked. I guess it's always nice to receive a compliment from one of the best drivers we've ever seen. The German news outlet also chose to inquire about Hamilton's future. The 7-time world champion is under contract until the end of the upcoming racing season, which means he could be working on his final season in Formula 1. However, Mercedes and Hamilton have both expressed their intention to continue with each other for longer. Although substantive talks are still awaited, Hamilton does not expect it to last long. "I will definitely stay," stressed the driver, who would prefer to say goodbye with a world title. This is good news for Mercedes. It means they can focus on their car in the upcoming years instead of searching for a new driver. Although Wolff is said to be fond of the idea of Charles Leclerc in a Mercedes, maybe we could see this in the future. Do you think Mercedes will be back at the front next season? And was it a good decision to appoint Mick Schumacher as a reserve driver? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything happening around the paddock. We'll see you in the next video.